Ever consider an empire employing elephants as a covert weapon in combat? Let's explore the amazing history of the Carthaginian Empire and its war elephants, which terrified their adversaries and permanently altered the face of battle. With its capital city of Carthage on the coast of North Africa, the Carthaginian Empire was a strong and prosperous civilization in antiquity. Carthage ruled over large swaths of territory and trade routes throughout the Mediterranean, making it a powerful maritime force. Nonetheless, Carthage's remarkable usage of war elephants was what really distinguished them on the battlefield. Elephant warfare was not a Carthaginian invention. It originated in India and spread to other cultures. However, the Carthaginians were the ones who honed this tactic, transforming these enormous monsters into terrifying and destructive tools. Hannibal Barca was the most well-known Carthaginian general to use war elephants. His name would come to represent military prowess and audacious strategy. During the Second Punic War, Hannibal launched an audacious and brilliant campaign against Rome. With the intention of attacking the core of Rome, Hannibal set out on a renowned and epic expedition. He overcame inclement weather, difficult terrain, and hostile tribes while leading his army, which included a contingent of war elephants across the dangerous Alps. Elephants crossing the snow-capped mountains was an incredible and terrible sight, demonstrating Hannibal's tenacity and resourcefulness. The Romans were caught off guard by what they encountered when Hannibal eventually made his way into Italy. The towering, terrifying war elephant spread fear and confusion across the Roman ranks. These elephants were like living tanks, tearing through enemy lines with such ferocity, because they were armored and carried trained troops on their backs. As much a psychological weapon as a physical one, their presence on the battlefield caused uncertainty and panic among Hannibal's adversaries. One of Hannibal's first wins was the Battle of Trebia, in which the war elephants were instrumental. Elephants tore through Roman barricades and tramped on soldiers as the Carthaginian army engaged in combat. The Romans could hardly keep their formations together, not used to battling such beasts. A decisive Carthaginian victory resulted from Hannibal's better tactics and smart employment of the elephants. Hannibal's most well-known victory occurred in the Battle of Cannae, a strategic military achievement. Elephants were not the main force in this battle, but their past successes had already made the Romans nervous. By executing a double envelopment, Hannibal's army surrounded and destroyed a far greater Roman army. The myth of the Carthaginian war elephants, which represented the strength and slyness of Hannibal's army, continued to spread. But using war elephants wasn't without its difficulties. In the midst of combat, elephants can be erratic and challenging to manage. Their efficacy rested on the competence of those who cared for them, and they needed substantial money for sustenance and upkeep. The Romans also started to devise defense strategies, such attacking the elephants' legs or frightening them with loud noises. Notwithstanding these difficulties, there is no denying the Carthaginian war elephants' influence on ancient warfare. They provided evidence of the effectiveness of psychological warfare and the significance of creative strategy. The image of these magnificent animals leaping into combat left a lasting impression on their opponents. There is a dramatic twist to the tale of the Carthaginian Empire and their war elephants. Even though Hannibal had some early victories, Carthage was eventually unable to continue its war against the unrelenting Roman Republic. After gradually turning the tide and learning from their setbacks, the Romans adapted and triumphed. Despite being a representation of Carthaginian power, the war elephants were ultimately unable to save Carthage from falling. Ultimately, the Third Punic War in 146 BC resulted in the destruction of Carthage and the fall of the Carthaginian Empire. Nevertheless, their war elephants left a lasting legacy that demonstrated Hannibal and his people's resourcefulness and daring. The sight of these enormous animals roaring across historic battlegrounds is nevertheless a potent reminder of the Carthaginian Empire's mighty past. Thus, keep in mind the empire that employed elephants in combat the next time you consider ancient warfare. Their tale serves as a reminder of how bravery and inventiveness may alter the path of history and create tales that never cease to astound and inspire.